Naoya Inoue is up to something, and I think that something is Gervonta Davis. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I want to see Naoya Inoue versus Gervonta Davis. It's got great name value, but I do believe with his recent string of southpaw fighters, that's what Naoya Inoue wants. If you missed it, he just beat his third straight southpaw, TJ Doheny, yesterday by 7th round knockout. And when I say knockout, I mean TJ Doheny is 37 years old and his back just went out because he's an old man like me. Great win for Inoue, and I do think he's got big fights on his mind, like Junto Nakatani, which is one of the ones that they hinted at. So what's he up to? Again, he's fought 3 straight southpaws. Murad John is another southpaw he could potentially fight. They're talking about him taking on another guy. I forget exactly who it is, but I do think Naoya Inoue wants to fight Gervonta Davis. And he thinks he can win it too. Who can blame him though? He's invincible. Kind of invincible. Remember, Luis Neri knocked him down in the first round last fight. If Gervonta Davis lands that punch, it's over. It is over. But look, seriously, check it out, guys. Check it out, because Naoya Inoue, 28-0, 25 KOs. But look at this right here. Stephen Fulton, I believe, is orthodox. I can't quite... Yeah, he's an orthodox fighter right here, you can see. But after Fulton, though, he fought Marlon Tapales, who is right here, southpaw. That was a good fight. That was a really closer fight than everybody thought it would be. Luis Neri, southpaw. That's the guy who caught him with the left hook. And now TJ Doheny. Get out of here with this. What is this? So, you know, I think that's what he's going for. Gervonta Davis is a southpaw, and he wants to be a southpaw killer. If he wants to go fight Gervonta Davis, why not get all the experience you can with southpaw fighters? And this plays into this too. They rumored Junto Nakatani. We're going to talk about that in a second here. But they rumored they want Junto Nakatani. Not next, but next kind of. He's a southpaw with a really good left. Now, he's a weight class under, but he's huge. He's massive. So, I don't know if I like, in a way, vying for Gervonta Davis. That said, I still think he is going for it because he wants a big name on his resume. And let's be real, the biggest name in boxing, Gervonta Davis is probably one of them. He's probably one of the bigger names in boxing. And if you can take away his undefeated status, you go down as an icon and a killer. You know, you go down as Sugar Ray Leonard defeating Roberto Duran and Marvin Hagler. And I think Naoya Inoue wants that kind of notoriety. TJ Doheny, though, showed his age. He's old. He fought okay, I guess. You know, like, I don't want to say TJ Doheny sucked in this fight because he for sure didn't suck necessarily. He was just never on par with it. Now, he's a former world champion, and he looks good on Naoya Inoue's resume. I get that. That's great. But he did look like an old man, and he fought like an old man in the cage, or in the ring, I should say. We're talking boxing here, guys, not UFC. I don't know what Inoue wanted to get out of this, except for more southpaw experience. And I think that's all TJ Doheny was, because you remember, Murad John stepped aside, basically, to let Inoue fight this. Now, it's weird, because if I'm not mistaken, let's see. Let's go back to the web real quick. Let's see. Ratings right here. Akhmadaliev is what? He's a southpaw, too. 12-1. He lost the fight to Tapales, and Tapales got the Inoue fight. So, I don't know what he's aiming for here. I don't know if Inoue's just kind of got his own plan, and Murad John Akhmadaliev is not part of that plan. But I do know Inoue looks better every fight too. Now, TJ Doheny, obviously his back went out. I think on his Instagram or one of his coaches' Instagram or something, he was talking about the muscle above his back went out. Now, I'm not that old. I'm only 33, but having my back have gone out before like that, the muscle above, I know that pain, and it was from the body shots of Inoue that caused that. He's leaning over, he's trying to stay out of trouble. He doesn't want to, compromise himself. He doesn't want to get caught with that right hand of Inoue or the left hook. The weapons are from everywhere now with Naoya Inoue. But at the end of the day, you're still 37. TJ Doheny was still 37 years old in that fight. And it showed. Like, Inoue was faster. He was smarter now. Doheny did some cool stuff. Some, like, very, very veteran-y things, just kind of changing up his cadence on his footwork, looping punches over the top while he's throwing his head kind of like over the top. I mean, I wasn't as ugly as that because I'm no boxer, but, he did some good veteran things. But all in all, it was like, okay, so Inoue's just walking this guy through. Yeah, I have a hard time being like, oh, it was an amazing fight, because it really wasn't that good of a fight. TJ Doheny lasted to the 7th round, and it shouldn't have been that long of a fight. It really shouldn't have. But here we are, 7th round, or into the 6th round, and Inoue's like going at his body, like just hammering him at the very end of the 6th round. And then TJ Doheny comes out in the 7th round, and pretty much the first couple body shots Naoya Inoue throws, it's game over. Okay, I mean, you got it. You're old, so, he's an older guy, I get, so I'm willing to give him the pass on that. It's time for him to hang him up, though. 37. You don't need to be boxing Naoya Inoue at 37 years old. Inoue did mention, though, he wants to fight Junto Nakatani. Yes, please. Oh, that's a good fight. So if you don't know, we're going to, go over to the web here. Let's see. I don't have this pulled up because, I'm never prepared. Pull up Junto Nakatani real quick, fellas. Nakatani's 28-0, 21 knockouts. He's 5'8", so he's taller than Inoue. And he's the champion at bantamweight. So remember, that's Inoue's old weight class. He's fighting Salapat. When is that? 10/14, so next month. He wins, he's probably getting that fight. He's probably getting the Inoue fight. He needs to win convincingly. So he fought Astrolabio, first round knockout. Alessandro Santiago gave him a much better fight than everybody thought. 6th round, and then, he took the title from Andrew Maloney, or he won the title off of Andrew Maloney. He didn't, there was a vacant fight. And that was kind of one of those fights where it was like, Nakatani is the man. But yeah, so if you give me Junto Nakatani versus Naoya Inoue, I will love you for forever. That's a good fight. That's a really good fight. And a lot of people are talking about, he kind of avoided the good fighters at bantamweight to become undisputed. I mean, how can you say that when he got all the belts? You can't. So he said, all right, fine. I'll fight him. I'll fight Nakatani. Now, I thought Junto Nakatani and Takuma Inoue, who is Naoya Inoue's brother with less power but still a belt, I thought that was going to be the fight they were going to make. But they didn't end up making that. Nakatani might have his own plans, sure, but when Naoya Inoue comes knocking, your call answering the door. It's Naoya Inoue. It's the biggest fighter in Japan. It's Japan's most successful boxer of all time. They're going to make that fight. And I think Inoue is going to work his way, because he's got, 2 weight classes to go up to see Gervonta Davis. Let's go to the Champions tab up here real quick. Yeah, because he's got a ways to go to fight Gervonta Davis. Now, Gervonta is a very, very small lightweight. I hate BoxRec. Oh, my gosh. But he's got super featherweight. You got featherweight, who you can fight Brendan Figueroa. That's a real fun one. So, yeah, 3 weight classes he has to go up. I don't know if he can make it all the way to lightweight. But the Gervonta Davis fight is one that's interesting, because let's look at him real quick. Inoue's 5'5". Gervonta Davis, 5'5.5". You got to add that half inch on. He's a lot stockier. You know, he's got wins over Rolly Romero, Isaac Cruz, okay, Ryan Garcia, Leo Santa Cruz was small, Gamboa. So, you know, it's like Gervonta's good, and he might be too muscular for Inoue. But I mean, we've seen Pacquiao come up from like, what was it, 118 all the way up to 154 or something like that, or 147. It's not far-fetched for Inoue to get on the sauce and end up at 135 from 122. That's not that big of a jump if you think about it. And it's a big name fight. I do think he's vying for that. And I think Junto Nakatani, who's a big hitter and he's taller, is a fight that Naoya Inoue is preparing for Gervonta Davis. I do think it's going to happen. Again, I don't want it to happen. I don't think that's the way to go. But I mean, if you want to be a legend, man, go beat one of the legends. And it's looking like Gervonta Davis might become a legend. What did Inoue improve? I know that's more of a technical show. We've kind of been talking shop mostly this episode, but what has he improved in this fight? And he improved a lot. That first fight, or that last fight with Luis Neri, where he dropped his right hand looking for an uppercut. We did a whole video about uppercuts, or a whole article written about uppercut and how he walked Luis Neri onto the uppercut. But the beginning of that fight, he drops his hand and Neri comes over with a left and puts Inoue down in the first round. Like, oh, what are you going to do? So what I noticed in this fight, that right hand, when he's exchanging, glued here. He made sure to keep his right hand up, learned from his mistake. He learned from his mistakes in the first fight, sure. But he did. He learned from his mistake, and he got better for it. Now, we did, like I said, for premium Substack subscribers, $5 a month, we talked about the Luis Neri fight last week and how he walked him onto uppercuts. And if you want to get in on that, the link to the article will be in the description. You can do one of the free post things, or you can just sign up and show me a little love. But this fight didn't show us too many uppercuts. Instead, Inoue was fine looking for the left hook, the right hook, and a lot of body work. And it paid off. Let's be real. It definitely paid off. Now, another thing I noticed that Naoya Inoue was doing was foot positioning, okay? Miguel Class's video, we talked about it in our Inoue tape study, in our technical readout on Naoya Inoue's last fight. So what he did in that fight was curious, because he took the inside angle. And when you're fighting southpaws, the rule of thumb, not the concrete rule, but the rule of thumb is outside foot advantage. So your lead feet, I repeat it ad nauseum, the lead feet are together. Your foot wants to be on the outside so you can go get that angle. Ow, I just hit the thing. You want to be to get that angle. Inoue likes the inside angle too, and he worked both of them. Now, on the inside angle, he goes more jab instead of right cross, because the right cross isn't lined up. And he kind of uses the inside angle's motion to get into that power jab. But when he wants to go power right hand, he steps to the outside and he steps deep. There's a moment at the fifth or sixth round, and it's like inside, outside, inside, outside. He was like pushing his foot around and going from side to side, literally hopping over the foot of TJ Doheny. Doheny did a good job of getting the outside foot too. But Inoue it was like, okay, we're doing outside foot, let's go. I'm gonna just nail you with the jab, and it didn't take Doheny very much longer to decide he didn't want anything to do with that. But yeah, great win for Naoya Inoue. It seems like Japan has boxing figured out. It really does, because they've got some killers there. I mean, you've got Inoue, you've got Junto Nakatani, Takuma Inoue, which they'll never fight, Yoshihiko Takie, who's a kickboxer, Tenshin Nasukawa. You've got lots of Japanese champions, and it seems like they have the whole pipeline figured out. Japan has a rich history in martial artistry, and I think that they are some of the best at it, and it makes sense. So you should check out this video, Miyamoto Musashi.